This lecture we will see the terms and procedures in British Parliament. That is, what are the terms and conditions for British Parliament, and what are the procedures, how the British Parliament works. Procedure. Both houses of Parliament are presided over by a Speaker. The House of Commons is presided by the Speaker of House of Commons, and the House of Lords is presided by the Lord Speaker. Current Lord Speaker is Lord Fowler since 1st September 2016, and the current Speaker of House of the Commons is John Bercow since 22nd June 2009. For the Commons, the approval of sovereign is theoretically required before election of Speaker become valid. But in modern days or in modern conventions, it is always granted. The Speaker's place may be taken by three duties known as Chairman, First Duty Chairman, and Second Duty Chairman of Ways and Means. They take their names from Committee of Ways and Means, of which they were once presiding officers but which no longer exists. Before 2006, the House of Lords was presided by a Lord Chancellor. A Lord Chancellor is a cabinet member. The influence of Lord Chancellor as Speaker was very limited. The Constitutional Reforms Act 2005 separated the functions of Lord Chancellor and Speaker. Lord Chancellor has control over judiciary as a whole, though Lords remain largely self-governing. Decisions on points of order on the discipline of unruly members are made by the whole body in the upper house, but by the Speaker alone in the lower house. Speeches in the upper house are made as a whole, and in lower house to the Speaker alone. For example, in upper house, speeches are made as "My Lords," and in the lower house by saying the "Mr. Speaker." Both houses may decide by voice votes. In House of Commons, yeah and no. If a MP is favoring a bill, he will say yeah, and if he is not favoring that bill, he will say no. On the House of Lords, same procedure to decide vote by voice votes, but the term they use is different. They in the House of Lords they say content for favoring and non-content for not favoring the bill. After the votes are given, then presiding officer declare the results. The pronouncement of either speaker may be challenged and recorded vote known as division demanded. The Speaker of Commons may overrule the request, but the Speaker of Lords can't. It means the Speaker of Lords can't overrule the request for the division votes. If a Lord make a request for division votes, then Speaker of Lords is bound to follow that. But as far as House of Commons is concerned, the Speaker of the House of Commons may overrule the request for division votes. In each house, a division requires members to file into one of two lobbies alongside the chamber. Their names are recorded by clerks and their votes are counted as they exit the lobbies to re-enter the chamber. The Speaker of Commons remain partisan except in case of tie. But the Lord Speaker vote along with Lords. That's the Speaker of Commons can't vote. Speaker of Commons remain partisan. He does not vote in day-to-day matters. However, if there exists a tie, then Speaker of Commons vote or Speaker of Commons give the decisive vote. But the Lord Speaker vote along with Lords. Both houses normally conduct business in public. and there are galleries where visitors pass it. Now we will see the terms and conditions for the British Parliament. As at 2016, Parliament has fixed terms of 5 years. Originally, there was no fixed limit for the term of Parliament, but the Triennial Act 1694 set the maximum duration at 3 years. Later on, since 3 years was very short period and frequent elections were costly, so in 1715 the Septennial Act 1715 extended the maximum period for Parliament to 7 years. The Parliament Act 1911 reduced it from 7 to 5 years. Now the maximum limit is fixed for a parliament is 5 years. During World War II, the term was temporarily extended to 10 years by Acts of Parliament. Since the end of war, maximum has remained 5 years. The Septennial Act was revealed by the Fixed Term Parliamentary Act 2011. That's according to the Fixed Term Parliamentary Act 2011. The maximum period for the parliament remains 5 years. Modern parliaments rarely continue to maximum duration. Normally they were dissolved earlier. Following a general election, a new parliamentary session begins. Parliament is formally summoned 40 days in advance by sovereign, who is the source of parliamentary authority. On the day indicated by sovereign's proclamation, the two houses assemble in their respective chambers. The Commons are then summoned to the House of Lords, where Lords Commissioner instruct them to elect a Speaker. The Commons perform election on the next day and then return to the House of Lords, where the Lords Commissioner confirm the election of the Speaker and give him the royal assent on the behalf of monarch. After that, within few days, almost all member parliamentarians take oath. Once the majority of the MPs take oath, the state opening took place, and the session ends with another event, which is not as much as popular as state opening, but that's called prorogation. Prorogation is a ceremony similar to state opening, but it is not as much popular as state opening. And in this ceremony, prorogation, monarch does not participate. Rather, the Lord Commissioner participate on behalf of monarch, and monarch personally did not participate in prorogation session.